Hola, buenos días.
Buenas tardes, buenas noches.
This is Barb.
And this is Estella.
And welcome to
Cafecito.
And Crime. Hola, everybody. So sorry that I had some issues last week and then I fucking forgot the day. And next thing you know, it was fucking Wednesday. And I was like, oh, really? I haven't done shit. But I hope that everybody's doing well and that everybody's had a good week. How have you been, sister?
I've been good. How have you been?
I've been okay. I think I'm doing good. I'm getting my life together with my new job and stuff, so I'm excited. Yeah, besides that, just following around the kids and the boo baskets and all that shit. All of that boo caca.
I'm just not doing none of that.
Yeah, that's fun. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
So I went to work a few days ago y luego, I told you about this. So luego yo iba para el Starbucks, según yo bien temprano, ¿verdad? Y ya me fui. Y ya iba yo bien chido al Starbucks. I had already placed my order here en la casa. But the Starbucks is probably like, I don't know, like not even 5 minutes from here. Y ya yo iba según bien chida. Y luego, I don't know, ¿qué se me ocurrió voltear? Bro, tell me why I was like far from, me pasé a la verga del Starbucks.
You didn't tell me that.
Yes, I did.
No, you didn't.
I called you immediately and I told you que me pasé al Starbucks.
Oh, yeah, you did. And they were like, I'm going to be late.
And then I'm going to be late. So
Yeah.
then, ya fui and I was like, okay, so I needed to go to the next exit. Bro, I was like, okay, ¿cómo me regreso para no tener que dar toda la vuelta? No, there's no way. You have to fucking go all the way around. Like in the roundabout y lo regresarte, ¿verdad? Y ya voy otra vez. And then, the good thing is que el Starbucks que está aquí como que no está muy lleno todavía because it's a newer one. Y luego me dieron el café. I was late like 6 minutes, pero me da un coraje. I hate being late.
Are you sure? Because you're late all the time.
No, I hate being late. Pero I hate being late here because I'm like, dude, there's no reason for me to be late.
Yeah.
Like, it was just me because I missed my coffee exit. Pero my coffee was...
You could have gone without the coffee.
No, porque ya lo había pagado. No, ya lo había pagado. Es que ya lo había pagado. So no iba a pasar.
¿A que sí?
No podía pasar.
Sí podía pasar.
No, I don't think so. Pero luego I went to go see my sister y fuimos a la feria. We went to the feria. It was really fun. Shout out to the State Fair of Texas with Big Tex. Y me comí un corn dog.
Was it good? Why a corn dog?
That's what my sister wanted.
Oh, I was about to say, I don't think I've ever known that you care for corn dogs like that.
My sister wanted a corn dog and it was her birthday weekend. So I was like, okay, whatever you want to do. I took her to Chili's. She wanted to go to Chili's.
So she told you to eat a corn dog, so you'll be like, okay, I'll eat a corn dog.
Well, because the fucking lines were ridiculous.
Yeah.
Estaba caliente como the fucking devil's titty. Like it was so fucking hot. Y luego, so then we went, pero you know, something that we did this time es que fuimos mucho a los lugares que they already had AC in them. So we were like going from one place to another. Like the first thing we went to was like this Dia de los Muertos thing that they had. And it was really beautiful. Like it was so pretty. And then de allí we went to another place that was inside. Y luego
También tenía AC.
Yeah, tenía AC. Y luego de allí nos fuimos al aquarium. So we were in the inside aquarium or whatever. And my sister was like, ¿te cobraron? I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Está tan caliente, me vale verga que me hayan cobrado. I'm like, I don't care. It's hot. Like everybody was just trying to get inside, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, the kids were having a good time. Me senté, vimos a SpongeBob y toda la verga. Y luego ya we went to go get food because ya teníamos hambre. And then like when we go to the fair, we always ride the train. Y nos dejan mero enfrente or whatever. Pero this time we parked the car y luego ya. And then it was so funny because my sister was like, we have to get on immediately porque si no nos vamos a ir paradas because, you know, there were so many people. Entonces she was like, so she tells my son, whenever you see the door open, I'm going to push you. Y tú te vas a ir a sentar. So then my son is like ready and he's stretching and shit. And so my son is con ella because they're like almost the same size. Y entonces, as soon as the doors open from the train, she pushes them in there and I push my daughter in, you know, para que se metan primero and they can sit down. So my son, en vez de sentarse en la chair ya cuando llegó, he starts jumping up and down because he was excited. And I'm like, sit down, siéntate en la
Lay
silla,
down
like
or something.
do something, you know, so finally we get on y ya. So we had a good time and then I drove back the next day. So por eso se me olvidó qué día vivía, ¿verdad?
No, because you went Sunday and came back Monday.
Yes, I came back Monday. I was off on Monday from work y los niños were off. So it was, I don't know what day. Memorial? No. I don't know what the fuck.
Fall break.
Fall break. I don't know what the hell. Pero yeah. So yeah, it was fun. We had a good time. Pero luego I had too much fun. Y se me olvidó. I was like, oh, okay. It's Wednesday. Anyway, so today we are going to be discussing a case that... So I wanted to really record this yesterday because yesterday was October the 22nd, and that would be the some year's anniversary of this case.
Oh, wow.
So I really want to do it, but I was like, okay, well, I'll do it today. So we're actually going to Danvers, Massachusetts.
Okay.
So Danvers, Massachusetts is where we'll be going today. So if you would like to join us to Danvers, go ahead and grab your cafecitos.
And let's get started.
So Danvers, Massachusetts is actually previously known as the Salem Village.
Okay.
Okay. So after a few years, they changed the name of Salem Village because of the Salem witch trials. So le cambiaron el nombre. So we already know what happened in the Salem witch trials in 1692, excuse me, where all those witches got killed. But I didn't want to really say fun, interesting random fact about that because, I mean,
it's not a fun random
it's not. So, but besides that, Danvers is known for a couple of things more than just that. So there's something called an Endicott, Endicott pear.
Okay.
So this tree only grows there in Danvers, and it's believed to be the oldest living cultivated fruit tree in North America.
Wow.
Yeah. It's also there because they only cultivate that como en that cultivate. ¿Cómo se dice? Cultivate? No, I don't.
Well, you said it. You were saying it right now.
Ay, es que se my ESL. Anyway, so then that's the only, like, the biggest thing that they grow on that
is a pear
that
tree.
area is a pear tree. Pero also they're actually known for them creating, or like, I guess, coming up with a new develop of a new carrot, which is called a half carrot.
Is it just short?
It's short.
Okay.
Yeah. So está gordita, la carrot así como yo, ¿verdad? But I'm tall, so I wouldn't.
So you're not a short carrot?
No, but it's a little bit shorter and chubbier than a carrot. It's just so cute. Parece miniatura. Yeah, it's called the half long carrot, and it was originally made, or I guess grown there in Danvers. And finally, this one does kind of tie into the...
It's so cute.
I know, huh? This one kind of reminds me of the miniature, like, ¿cómo se llaman las zanahorias? Pero the ones that come in the little packages, the mini ones,
yeah,
they come in the bolsa, pero with a stem, right?
Yeah,
that's what they look like.
Como un manojo de esas.
Sí, ajá. Y entonces, this one kind of does fall into the same thing. So Danvers is known for their state hospital that was actually at one point a psychiatric institution, and it was opened in 1878. So they've known this hospital because it's still there. It's still standing.
Oh, wow.
And it was known as the state's lunatic hospital. Yikes. At Danvers. Mm-hmm. And also it was the Danvers Lunatic Asylum, which is still there today. And when I Googled it, like, I was trying to find information about it, y decía que the style of the hospital was Gothic.
Is it still opened as a hospital? Do you know?
It's not a hospital anymore.
Okay.
It's now, I think somebody bought it for offices or something like that.
Okay, like an office building.
But it's still there. It's still there. So we're going to discuss the case of Colleen Ritzer.
Okay.
Okay, so I don't know if you've heard of her, but
I have not.
Colleen...
No se me hace conocido el nombre.
This case, for some reason... So when my best friend and her husband were here a month ago or so, my best friend's husband, which he's not my compadre, but I call him compadre because my best friend, whatever. Anyway, so then my compadre said, hey, you should research this case for your thing. And so when I read it, I'm like, bro, I don't know about this. So I kind of put it behind me.
Why did you think about that? What made you say that?
Because when I read it, I was kind of like, it was a little too much for me because of the age of whatever happened and that kind of thing. So I was like, you know what? I wasn't mentally okay for that. Then I researched it. And then I was like, okay, I can make a case. But then I made another case before this one. So then I was like, you know what? I want to do this one. Okay. So that's why this. And for some reason, this one... I don't know. I was telling you, like, I really needed...
Yesterday, yeah.
Like, it was, like, heavy on my heart. I don't know. I guess because it was around the time that she had passed or whatever it was. So, as we know, this is true crime, so somebody passes. So, Colleen was born on May 13th of 1989. So, she was not that much older than you. To her mother, Peggy and Thomas Ritzer. And Colleen was the oldest of a sister Laura, and her brother's name was Dan. At the early age of 3, Colleen realized that she loved school. She loved education, she loved school, and she loved helping others. So even like as young as preschool, she would want she would always play school, and her teachers would always be with her, and they would actually help her set up her little monitos para que les enseñara. Like, she was into the world of learning. She loved it. She thought it was just so amazing how she can open up a student's mind with her teaching. So she was a devoted Christian. Colleen knew that she was, like I said, in love with teaching as quickly as she realized it, being that young. But she said, okay, this is what I want to do. I know it sounds crazy that she was that young, pero,
sometimes when when you just know what you want to do that young, it's just
you just know. Yeah. Like I was telling you at one time, when I was younger for Halloween, one year I was a nurse. So my whole life, I've always wanted to be in the medical field. Mm-hmm. And I'm not a nurse, pero I'm the second down from that, like a lot of downs, but not that many, from being a nurse. So to me, that was something really important to me. Like, I really wanted to be a nurse. So I think that's kind of what she meant. I was like in the 3rd grade, and I have a picture of me eating M&Ms in a yellow package, and I have a nurse outfit on. And I was the cutest thing ever.
When I was little, they used to ask us, hey, ¿qué quieres hacer cuando seas grande? Mm-hmm. I don't know why I will always say an astronaut. I don't know, because we're from Houston and NASA's here, but that's the only thing that came to my mind, not because I really wanted to be one.
I was about to say, you're far from being
And then I don't think kids know not everybody is that lucky to know what they want to do when they're that little,
Yeah. But I guess I think that because of the fact for her was that she wanted to help people.
It just happens.
Happened. She wanted to help people. She was just fascinated by her teachers, mm-hmm. and she wanted to be a teacher. And then she also was really close to her sister and her brother. Like, she was...
And you said she was the oldest de los...
She was the oldest,
so siblings, right?
Yeah, so ella tenía como la responsabilidad a little bit of making sure that they were okay.
Yeah, being the oldest child.
During her senior year at Assumption College in 2011 is where she discovered that not only that she wanted to be a teacher, but that that was her calling. She's like, her parents say this is what I wanted to do. She wanted to do. So she started to tutor at the high school.
Wait, you said college or?
Yeah, she was already in college.
So she was tutoring at a high school?
At a high school.
Okay.
So she started tutoring at the high school with kids that were struggling with math, and she was able to explain the complicated subject because not a lot of people are good at math.
I hate math.
My son loves math. He loves it, and I'm like, how I don't know. He didn't get that from me because I'm not good at math, but I'm not good at a lot of stuff. So anyway, she would experience a little bit of a purpose for the students. So she that's when she was like, okay, this is really what I want to do. I know that she said that that's what she wanted. So when she was sure of her path, she was going into teaching. So she graduated magna cum laude from the Assumption College, and she received a major in math, psychology, and a minor with a concentration in secondary education. Okay. So she kind of was in the realm of, kind of psychology. No. She went into high school.
Oh, high school teaching? Mm-hmm. Okay.
So she became a math teacher at Danvers High School, and she was the biggest inspiration to her students. Here's some words that she would always say, she would live by. Every day may not be a good day, but there is something good in every day. End quote. So I feel like she was always positive, and she really wanted to make sure that her students were, having a good time.
I now remember when I was a senior in high school or a junior, I don't remember, we had a young history teacher. Yeah. Like a U.S. history teacher. Yeah. She was kind of cool with all the students because I think she was closer to our age, but obviously older, right? Yeah. She was like late 20s. Yeah. Or mid 20s, no me acuerdo. But everybody thought she was such a cool teacher. Yeah. And she was, I think U.S. history. I don't remember, history teacher. But so I wonder también.
She was kind of like that. So Colleen would make such a mark in her students that she decided, she dedicated her soul to her students and her family. She didn't have any children herself. She wasn't married. She didn't have a partner, pero she knew she was good. So she would have such good communication, with the students, que hasta hizo un Twitter. Or now an X, pero antes era Twitter. And
I still call it Twitter.
Yeah, pero she would always update it and tell the students math jokes on the X or on the Twitter. And then she would write things like, yay, math.
Yeah. Like
cute stuff,
like dad jokes, but
yeah,
a teacher. Yeah.
And so then on her profile, she stated that she was a math teacher, often too excited about the topics that she's teaching.
Aww.
So she was super.
She loved what she did.
Yeah, super into everything that she did. She was beautiful inside and out. I mean, she was truly happy, and Colleen really loved what she did, as we said before. And based on her students and everything that everybody said about her, we could tell. So Colleen noticed at this point, she's about 24. She's a ninth grade teacher at the school. So 24 is around the age that you said, right?
Yeah, I said late 20s.
Yeah, late 20s. Yeah. So she was, like I said, teaching ninth grade class. And she noticed that there was a kid in her classroom that was a transfer student. She had heard about him, but she didn't really know much about him. And he came from Tennessee. His name is Phillip Chism.
Okay, so he was a ninth grader también.
A ninth grader.
Okay.
So he's 14 at this
14,
time.
15, I guess, por ahí.
Yeah, 14.
Yeah.
He was very quiet, but Colleen did know some information about him. Sabía que Phillip se había venido a Danvers with his mom because his mom and his dad had a very nasty divorce. Mm-hmm. It was him and his two younger sisters, and they lived with his mom's aunt in a little apartment. So it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't a pretty divorce, and it was
a big change, I'm sure.
A big change, and it was like abrupt. Like se vinieron de repente. Not only there, pero I mean, she didn't really. Colleen no sabía qué había pasado, but something had happened, So it seems that Phillip was having kind of a hard time. He was trying to fit into the school, and obviously at that age, it's kind of awkward because I know my daughter's around that age and she's fucking awkward. He was in soccer, so that was something that he really loved to do. So at that time, he was also in Colleen's last period of the day.
Okay.
So he would go to church, and he did have friends in the youth group, but most of the friends that he talked to and stuff like that was in the soccer team. The soccer coach did mention that he was very good at soccer and he was very dedicated, and he was a part of the JV soccer team of the school. So one of the teachers later comes out to say that Phillip had requested to move to honors history class because he said that he felt like he needed more of a challenge.
Okay.
And that showed that Phillip was serious about school and that he was very intelligent. Mm-hmm. So that brings us to the school year of October 2013. So around this time, Colleen is really excited because she loves the fall. And I imagine you fucking live in Danvers. Like,
you get a real fall.
Are the fall.
Yeah,
like, you are the fucking fall.
No como aquí, because it's like 90 today. It was hot as fuck.
It was hot as fuck today. Y luego, like, my truck was saying 115, dude. Like,
Oh, girl, no.
Yeah, it was hot.
Not that hot.
So then she was so excited about the fall season. She would dress up for Halloween every year. Y luego...
Like, me imagino que decoraba su classroom.
Sí, decoraba su classroom con todo. She loved the colors. Y luego, I mean, come on. This is like the fucking Salem village. Like, I imagine... Formerly known. But I imagine, like, everything was very...
So what about Salem, the city? Like, the town?
What about Salem?
What's the difference between Salem Village and Salem, the town?
And that's the reason why they changed the name. Because they didn't want it to be confused.
With
Salem, the town. Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, dude, like, this is fall.
Yeah.
Like,
the real falls.
The real falls. And so, everything that would come with fall, she was excited about. Her mom would say que ya cuando estaba más grande, she would put a little bit of spice in her little, like, outfits and stuff because they were Christian. Mm-hmm. And then I would look, and I was like thinking, I saw the picture and I'm like, girl, she's wearing like this long skirt, but to her it was spicy. Mm-hmm. Pero she loved fall, so anything that has to do with Halloween. So this brings us to October the 22nd. Like I said, this was yesterday. Today's the 23rd. Yeah. And this day was dressed as your best friend day. Because, all of this last week, I'm not sure if this is the correct thing or not, but all of this last week, the kids had a red ribbon week or red something or another. So every day they've been dressing differently to support, like, say no to drugs and all of that. So I'm guessing that's what's happening
here. Like a theme or something?
Like a theme, yeah. So that day, que ya el 22 de octubre, it was dressed as your best friend. Y Colleen and the other one of the teachers de enfrente, they were dressed the same. So they were both wearing like a purple long sleeve shirt. Oh, remember the lacy de abajo se te salía, because that's what we would do in 2013. Black pants and some flats, black flats, just like her friend. Now, when this happens, the day of, the reason that we can see all of this is I'm going to explain to you anyway, let me get into it. So Colleen was a part of something called the freshman team, which was a group of teachers that would make sure that they would follow up with the freshmen in case they needed something.
Right.
So it meant that their school, the last period ended at 1:55, but when 1:55 to 2:30, which was the end of the school day, they would have something called a bubble period. So everybody que tenía como leftover assignments to turn in, or if they were confused or if they had a test, they had that moment of 35 minutes para ellos buscar ayuda, you know, which I think that's amazing.
I think so too.
Because
that's como que quieres ayudar al estudiante.
Yeah.
Porque a veces los niños se llevan la tarea home and ya están bien perdidos and they don't do a good job.
No, that would be my children.
Yeah.
So, and then like not only that, but I noticed that in this case, the biggest thing that was very eye-opening to me was how close-knit the teachers are. Like, yes, I understood that they were like, everybody has their own group or whatever, but I mean, these teachers were like, I mean, if you were a math teacher, if you teaching yeah, like they were close.
Oh, good.
So, and I thought that was pretty amazing. So at this point, you're, like I said, able to go to the subject that you're struggling with or on, and then, or that you're behind, and anything that's school related, you can have some time to catch up. So now this is where the story gets kind of like iffy, because there's two sides to what's going to happen right now. Everyone was out of the room but Phillip and another female student that obviously we don't know her name because she was a minor. So the student states that Colleen had gotten up to Phillip and then noticed that he was drawing on a piece of paper y que he wasn't taking notes and that they were going to have a test. So then Colleen le dice a Phillip, or the student over here is Colleen telling Phillip, hey, it looks like you're good at that drawing, ¿verdad? Y entonces que le dijo él, yes. Y ella le dice, okay, please stay after class. I need to have a word with you. So that's what the student said that she overheard. But then the female student just said that after that, everybody left, but then Phillip was just sitting there. So then all she wanted to do was just draw on the erase board. I mean,
La muchacha.
She wasn't behind on anything, pero ella nada más quería estar ahí because she loved Miss Colleen.
Okay.
Like ella quería estar con ella, chill with her.
Le gustaba el chisme que era parar la oreja.
No. Pero, I mean,
she just wanted to be there.
She just wanted to be there.
Okay.
So she wanted to spend time with Miss Colleen. So in this school, there's something about this case that I mention again, is the fact that the CCTV footage of this whole case is going to be the biggest part of everything, because literally you can see everything, the timeline happening between everything. Okay. So you can see that Colleen did come out of her classroom in her purple shirt, and she met up with her bestie, que estaban vestidas iguales, sí. And they're talking. So
on the hallway,
in the hallway. Okay. So now at this point, the teacher saying, so the little girl saying que she asked Phillip to stay, pero the teacher now is saying que she was telling Colleen, I have two students, or Colleen le estaba diciendo que she had two students, pero que she didn't know why Phillip had stayed. Que Phillip wasn't one of them.
Oh, like he wasn't supposed to.
That he wasn't supposed to stay.
Okay.
Que he wasn't behind on his class. So then she's like, but he's in there, so let me go find out what they need.
Yeah.
So they talked about like what they were going to do later, blah, blah, blah. And then everybody went to their own class, right? So at this point now, there's this two students and Miss Colleen in the classroom. And now the female student says that Colleen was trying to make small talk because, I mean, it's Colleen. And she said that she asked Phillip, hey, how is Danvers different from Tennessee? Or what are the changes that you saw between the two places? So then the student says that she noticed that Phillip got visibly angry. So then she said that Colleen noticed that. So ella cambió la conversación. She was like, okay, never mind. I'm not going to ask that. Pero the student says that Phillip continued to kind of mumble under his voice, something, pero que no se oía lo que decía. Not long after, the female student leaves. She says, okay, Miss Colleen, ya me voy. Thank you for having me. I'm sad that I don't get to see you tomorrow because I have a period, whatever it is. And so she's like, but I'll see you. They hug each other, and Colleen is like, okay, have a good day. Mind you, Phillip is still sitting in the class.
Right.
So then moments later, in the CCTV footage of the school, Colleen walks out of the classroom.
Okay.
So her classroom is in the second floor. This makes a big deal. So she's in the second floor, and you can see her walking out of the classroom, and she walks into the women's restroom.
Okay.
After that, you see that Phillip walks out of the classroom too. And he como que saca la cabeza and he looks over both sides, and it's really fucking creepy because he looks over both sides like that, y luego mete la cabeza otra vez, and then he goes to the women's restroom.
Okay.
So at this point, he's wearing a blue hoodie. So this is a big deal about it because he's wearing a blue hoodie and he's actually wearing la capucha, like the hat.
The hoodie.
The hoodie. And then he goes into the... Now, mind you, at the beginning of the story, I didn't realize this, but you can see him putting on some white gloves. You can see him putting on gloves.
In the surveillance camera?
Yeah. So el CCTV now is kind of darker because I guess the way that the lights le estaba pegando a la puerta, al restroom. So then you can see that he walks in, and that's the last time that we see Colleen walk out of the school at all. Mm-hmm. Okay? So then you see that another student, moments later, walks into the restroom también, como que iba al baño la compa. Pero literally, not even a second later, como que entró y se salió.
Yeah, no se metió
completamente.
Yeah.
When they asked the student what happened, she said that she saw somebody's butt. So like flesh.
Yeah.
So miró a alguien, somebody's butt in one of the stalls. So she thought that maybe they were changing or they were doing something they weren't supposed to be doing.
Right. So she just backed out.
Literally, it was like a second. Porque se mira the timer y it went a second y ella se sale. This time, once again, Phillip is still in the stall in there. So with Colleen, at this point, it's 11 minutes that he was in total with Colleen in the stall. A few moments later, you see Phillip comes out with the blue hood still on his head, but he's in a hurry this time. Mm-hmm. So then you see him going down the stairs. He walks out of the school. He comes back into the school, okay? Now he's not wearing the hoodie anymore.
Okay.
But he has a red sweatshirt around his neck.
Okay.
Okay? And not only that, but he doesn't go back to the restroom. He goes into the classroom.
Okay.
So sale con bolsas. So trae como su mochila, trae una bolsa colgada aquí y trae otra
de
bolsa
la classroom,
acá.
Sale
De la
así
classroom.
Sale. Yeah.
And he goes outside. Then he comes back to the school. Now, mind you, he's going up the stairs.
Yeah.
You know, because she's in the second. They're in the second floor.
Yeah.
So then he walks back, and now he's walking into the school wearing a mask, a ski mask, and gloves.
Okay.
Black, right? And he also walked in with the black recycling bin, Estela. Like un pinche bote de la basura.
I think I remember this case now.
Okay. Now he's walking back upstairs with the fucking trash bin. And he then walks into the restroom. Mm-hmm. Okay? Then he's struggling a little bit with the trash bin. So then he walks back out of the school and he rolls the bin down. Literally. Down the hall. Down the stairs. And
there's no other people in the school?
That's what I'm about to tell you. And in front of people, because you can see them in the fucking camera, que la gente está parada, and they look over to what the fuck he's doing. This guy is wearing a black mask and black gloves with the fucking bin, and he's just like walking, you know, and no camina así de aquí a aquí. No, like he's walking with her.
Or
with
down the
bin,
stairs.
Down the stairs, right? So you see the people around him, like I said, they're noticing that he's walking, and he's fucking wearing a mask and gloves. But anyway, then he disappears with the recycling bin out of the camera for 7 minutes. Mm-hmm. Then he walks back into the school. Ya sin el recycling bin, sin nada.
¿Todavía tiene la máscara?
Yeah, I think he was wearing the mask. Pero at this time, now you see that there's blood on his jeans.
Okay.
And there's blood, like his hands are completely red. And
people are still seeing this?
Yes. Yeah, but he's also not wearing shoes. He's barefoot.
Yeah, barefoot.
So se mete otra vez a la escuela, pero now he goes to another restroom. And in this other restroom, from there, he walks out wearing his soccer uniform. Okay. Pero still with no shoes. Mm-hmm. He walks towards the area of where he picked up the recycling bin. Ya salió otra vez, pero ya limpio. Y he goes outside y ya se retira, you know, de la camera.
Yeah.
So at this time, too, it's crazy for me because when I was watching this, like I literally watched this over and over, Stella, I'm telling you, because I was, this fucking case enrages me. So they literally see in the camera que he's running back and forth. Y luego mira a un niño que he has a soccer ball. So he probably knew Phillip.
Yes.
Y luego le hacía así con las manos. What's up? Like, what are you doing? Where are you going? Pero Phillip va en chinga. But nobody questions anything that he's doing. Nobody.
Let's take a quick break.
Persons of Interest is back, and it's bigger than ever.
That scream will echo in my head for many years.
Taser, taser, taser! He's gonna shoot!
Oi! Shot fired. Shots fired, shots fired.
Stay out, you gotta go on you!
He had the perfect aim.
I am absolutely stressed at that point. I have no idea where my officers are.
Persons of Interest available everywhere you get your podcasts.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't think it's going to cross your... I mean, he's not wearing the ski mask now and the gloves. So if you just see him like, bro, what the fuck are you doing? You're just like, okay, whatever.
Yeah,
you know?
but like, I don't know. But anyway, so then recap, he's out of the school.
Right.
And he left with the recycling bin.
Yeah.
So Philip's mom starts to worry, right? So her name is Diana. So Diana's at 6:30, she puts in a call to the cops and saying, hey, my son is missing. I've called the school and I've gone to the school. I'm looking for him and I can't find my son. His name is Phillip, blah, blah, blah. So nobody's heard or seen Phillip. They even contacted the soccer coach and the soccer coach says, hey, you know what? He never showed up for practice. I don't know anything. And his mom says, can you please ask the rest of the teams?
Students, yeah.
But the students said that they did see him at one point after school, but he was running away from the field. He wasn't going towards.
Yeah.
So the soccer team says, besides that, we haven't seen him. Nobody really knew anything about him. At the same time, Colleen's family started to worry about her as well. Because remember that I told you she was very close? So
Yeah.
Colleen would come home every day and would sit with her mom for at least an hour after work because her mom worked from home. So le platicaba todo lo que pasaba en el día y todo
and
eso.
then
So
she
they
would-
had a routine.
Yeah.
So it was really weird that Colleen would even get out of her routine.
Right.
Right?
Y sin avisar.
Sin avisar.
Right.
She's a creature of habit. There's
Yeah.
no way
Right,
that she
right,
did
right.
anything different. So they were trying to call her cell phone and it would just ring and ring and ring. And they even went up to the school and Colleen's car was there.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So at this time, like I said, it was around 6:37 when everything was kind of going down. At the school, they were able to get into the classroom, pero the lights were completely on. Her door was propped open, pero no
Yeah.
había nada.
Right.
There was no Colleen anywhere. So something just wasn't right.
Of course not. Yeah.
They contacted the authorities, but of course, at this time, they're focusing on where the fuck
Is
Phillip
Yeah.
is at, because he's a minor and
Yeah,
all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So the police started to put two and two together and they were like, okay, so Phillip is in Colleen's class and they thought, okay, so things happen, maybe they left together. Maybe they, I don't know, she gave him a ride. Like they don't know. At this point, they're just kind of like trying to get shit together. So the police did go back to the school once the family was like, can you please go back to the school? They were like, hey, there's just no reason to believe something happened. Like, we don't know.
Right.
But in the restroom where the CCTV footage was pointing at, donde se miró la última vez que Phillip went in and Colleen never came out, it smelled so strong as chemicals.
Yeah.
So they don't know what's going on. So that attracted them to the restroom. And when they went in, it was clean, but there was a handprint, bloody handprint at this point. And it was kind of like a smear, but it was around like waist level, but it was very faint. So it wasn't like something that you could have been like, oh, there it is. No, like you had to be looking for it. And that's how they were noticing that something. Then they're like, okay, something's really not right. So they decided to put a tracker on Phillip's phone because they're thinking in their head they're together. That's what the cops are thinking right now. So it pinged at a movie theater. So the movie theater was not too far from the school. It was called Hollywood Hits. At 4:28 is when it pinged that he was there.
Yeah.
So there's no other hits from his cell phone after that. Like I said, it was close by to the school. So when they got there, they found out that Phillip had actually watched the movie. He bought a ticket. They also found out that he went to Wendy's and he bought himself
something to eat.
And he paid all of it with Colleen's credit card. Yep. Everything was on the teacher. At this point, they're like, okay, so where did he go next? Because this is around 5 o'clock, that this is happening. So when the police starts to search for Phillip, they did put out a word in like social media, because yes, cuando social media was kind of coming up, to be on the lookout. So at 9:30 p.m., the principal at the school sent out a mass email to everybody saying, hey, there's a student missing. And then she gets a returning email from someone or one of the teachers saying, hey, one of the math teachers is missing as well. And they were contacted by another math. This is when I tell you that they were like a ring girl. And so the other math teacher, that math teacher had gotten contacted by Colleen's parents, and because they were looking for their daughter.
Son.
No. At this point, it's Colleen's parents.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
they contacted, because this is the teachers that are going back and forth. And I even read or heard somewhere that the teacher that was there, like they go up there and they're like we're going to look for her. They gave no shits. So sometime after midnight, someone calls the police to complain that there's a person walking on the edge of the highway and was wearing a hoodie. And it was a black hoodie. And they just wanted someone to come out and check to make sure that person was okay, because they were going the opposite way. So So then when the police gets there, they did stop the person, and it was Phillip. Mm-hmm. He was wearing his hoodie and he was wearing his backpack. So when they got there, they said, hey, what's going on, player? Like,
are you okay? What's going on?
Like, where are you coming from? They started asking him questions.
Yeah.
So they asked him where he's coming from, and he told them he was coming from Tennessee. And then they ask but by this time, the cops get a little bit a better look at him, and he has a ski mask around his neck. Mm-hmm. And then the ski mask was just hanging, como que se la quitó, pero la tenía abajo. Uh-huh. So then the police is like, okay, so ¿a dónde vas? Like, where are you going? And he said, nowhere. So they're like, okay. Typical answer of a teenager. And nobody out there knows, that's some shit that my daughter would answer me. Then they patted him down, and they found in his pocket that he had a rock and he had a credit card, and it was under Colleen's name. But at this point,
a rock?
Yeah, I don't know. But once I explain what happened, then you'll understand a little bit. So Colleen's name was on the credit card. But at this point, the police didn't really know. There was no
connection. They weren't connecting it.
So when the police asked him to remove his backpack, and they set him down in the cop car because it was cold, lucky. The cop asked him if there was something in the backpack that could hurt him if he looked in there. And, Phillip says, yes, there's something in there. And then they asked him, once they started looking through it, they found out that there was a box cutter, and it was full of dry blood. Mm-hmm. So then the cop says, okay, so where's this blood from? And Phillip says that is from the girl.
And that's how he said it?
The girl. Mm-hmm. And they ask okay, so where's the girl? Like, what are you talking about? And he said, in the woods. And then the cop asks him, hey, if I look for the girl, am I going to be able to help her? And he said, no. So the bloody box cutter and some cash and a bloody pair of green and blue colored underwear were in his backpack. Okay. So the police then takes him in for questioning. They meet up with his mom y toda la madre, and they all meet at the station. The investigators keep looking for Colleen or something that might help find out what happened to her, because now they're like, okay, so Phillip is here.
Where's Colleen?
¿Dónde está Colleen?
Right.
They were looking around the school and trying to find information, or maybe somebody had seen something. I don't know. At this point, they're just looking, right? So when the family of Colleen and some of the math teachers, once again, they all gathered at the school, and they're like, we're going to go help find. So one of the teachers was kind of looking around in the area. And now this made me really sad, because he said he was out there because Colleen would sometimes babysit his 1-year-old daughter. So his 1-year-old daughter was really close to Colleen. Aww. So he's like, we wanted to find her.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then he was walking around the school, and when he was walking, he found a backpack that was wedged between some boulders que estaban afuera de la school. So the backpack had some blood on it. So he's like, I'm not touching this. Right. I don't know what's going on. I don't know whose it is. But then he's like, okay, well, the woods was back there. So he's like, maybe if I keep looking down there, I'll find
something else. Right.
So he started to go, a little bit deeper into the woods. And when he got a little bit deeper, he found a pair of white gloves. Mm-hmm. They were also bloody. When he was like, okay, I can't go further. I need to call somebody. So he called the authorities out there. The police did continue their search.
Into the woods.
And they did find a pile of leaves that were kind of displaced. And they also found a little bit further on to one side of the woods, a recycling bin, pero estaba volteado sideways. Mm-hmm. At this point, this was a crime scene. So they closed off about like 6 by 10 square foot area. And they're like, nobody comes around here because they're now thinking we're looking for a body.
You're right.
So while going through the area, and like I said, the pile of the leaves that were splattered with blood, there was blood everywhere. And there was one of the officers that noticed that there was one toe sticking out, and the toe was painted in pink nail polish. While further investigating, they did, under the leaves, discover the body of Colleen. Now, I'm going to go ahead and give a disclaimer because the way that Colleen was found was very, how do you say it? Very, I don't know. It was bad. It's just bad. So I want to give a disclaimer. I'm about to say a few things and just give me a minute and then come back. So Colleen was nude from the waist down and she was not alive. Upon further inspection, she was kind of propped up, sentada. They had slit her throat. So it had been so deep that you can see her bone.
Oh, my God.
And she had been stabbed a lot of times. Not only that, but she had been obviously assaulted. And the reason that we say that she was obviously assaulted was because she was left with her shirt over her breast, but her bra was under her breast. Okay. So she was exposed. There were red stains and brown stains all over her body. Like it was everywhere.
Wow.
Not only that, but whoever did this to Colleen had left her propped up, like I said, sentada, and her legs were spread open without any underwear. And they were so spread open that they were actually bent.
Okay.
Like they had bent her legs como para que se quedaran así.
Yeah.
And there was evidence next to her. There was a branch that was about 3 foot long and about 1 inch wide that was left with Colleen. And there was obvious signs that they had used that to sexually assault her.
Oh, my God.
Yes. So it had blood on it, and the police knew what that meant. So it was left there after they assaulted her with this stick. So they also noticed there was a note, and the note said, "I hate you all."
Oh.
There was other items found around Colleen or around the scene. There was black pants, a red sweater, a pair of jeans, some black socks, and a student ID. Now, I wonder whose student ID this was. It was Phillip's. Phillip's student ID was found around Colleen. The scene was so horrifying, Estela, that the detective that had found her and that had to process the scene could not describe it without crying.
Right.
Like,
no. Yeah.
They were like, she was left in such a way, and I think that this is why I'm so enraged, because there was no need for that.
Like after you had already killed her.
Yes. So not only that, but
because I'm assuming at this point it was Phillip. Right?
So at this point is when they realized that Phillip had something more to do with, because they found his fucking ID
there, right?
Yeah. So with the information, they go back to Phillip's and question him further at the station, right? And they ask him, "Hey, what happened? Whatever." And he said that he followed Colleen into the restroom and that he had karate chopped her in the neck. He then proceeds to cut her throat with the box cutter, but he denies that he had sexually assaulted her. Anyway, he then puts her inside the bin and he disposed of her in the woods, but he says, "No, I didn't sexually assault her." But with her autopsy being done, there was physical evidence that said that his DNA was inside of her.
Oh, okay.
So he sexually assaulted her, and he also did sexually assault her with that stick.
Okay.
There was evidence of that. And she was also stabbed a total of 16 times. Wow. That's not including the 3 times that he slashed her jugular. Yeah. So what Phillip didn't know was that recently the school had added 140 cameras.
Right. So that's why he was just walking around como nada. And because he was new there también, right?
He was new. And not only that, but to be really transparent, 90% of this whole case was caught on camera.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for
90%.
Sure.
So another thing that was also brought up eventually by the investigators was that Colleen must have been alive. Most of the sexually assaulted, she was alive. And she was probably also alive when she was in the recycling bin.
Wow.
So her actual cause of death was asphyxiation and blood loss.
Wow.
So she could have, she literally went through all of that.
Yeah, alive. And knowing that maybe she wasn't conscious. I don't know. Maybe she was alive but not conscious. Pero you're like, fuck, really?
Yeah.
Rolling around in a bin.
In a bin. Yeah. And not only that, he's 14. He's 14 that I thought that I was going to change his life, because that's what she was trying to do, was change his life.
And try to help him, because he was in the period where you stay to get help for whatever it is that you need.
Yeah. Not only that, but so at this point, he denied everything, of course, because that's what they always do, fucking cowards. So he was going to be charged with as an adult, and he was going to get charged with 2 counts of rape and robbery and first-degree murder. So the prosecution said that they wanted him to stay in a institute for kids until he turned 20 or 18. This is what they wanted, until he turned 18, and then go to
trial.
No. He was gonna be tried, but they were looking for him to be tried. He's gonna be tried as an adult, but they wanted him to stay in the jail for juveniles, and then at 18 go to the older people jail.
Okay.
So the defense team said that he was a child, that he was triggered by the word Tennessee, that he had just moved to Danvers and he was traumatized, and that he wanted to move back, and that the bullshit. And the reason that he went off and did that to his teacher was because he was triggered by the word Tennessee. So I can see why you could say that, but like I mentioned before...
I can't see why he would say that. I cannot see
at all. Because, as I mentioned before, if you watch the video, because there's full-on video about of this, he came to the school with the gloves.
And the mask.
The mask. And a change of clothes.
And the knife and the box cutter,
And the box cutter. So...
He usually just walks around with that shit.
You were triggered. Okay.
He was just waiting for somebody to say Tennessee to him?
Yeah. He was just waiting for Tennessee. His family says that there was no signs that they could have said that something was going to go wrong with Phillip or why he did this, but...
I was about to ask you, did he ever...
They said that they didn't have any signs, but... I mean, once again, his mom was working really hard, se acaba de divorciar, all of these things, pero también the... police had to follow up on a lead that they were allegedly saying that Phillip liked to set cats on fire.
Ay.
And that he actually got sexual pleasure out of that. So they were like, okay, so I don't know. This was when he was around already in jail. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So not only that, but when he was awaiting trial, the prosecutor asked for a stricter security for Phillip because at 15, he attacked a worker from the juvenile center that he was at.
He's tall.
He's tall.
He's very tall.
He's very tall. Yeah.
Well, I think I don't know, the picture I saw of him was recent, but he's very tall.
So he escaped from where there was people watching him or something, and he crouched down and out of sight of the camera. Well, this time he went out of sight of the camera. And then he followed a female worker that was there, helping with giving him medicines and stuff like that. And he started to choke her and beat her face and neck.
Did they do a psych evaluation?
Hold on. Okay. So then he was armed with a pencil, and she was able to scream for help. And they came and detained him. So when they tried to restrain him, he started to foam at his mouth, yelling out and acting like he was psychotic. So they sent him to a 30-day psych hospital. They were like, okay, he needs an eval, and after extensive evaluation, there was no mental incapacity. He was fine, whatever you can
Quote,
consider
unquote.
fine. On the day 3 of the trial, when it started, the defense attorney came back to trial without Phillip because he said he was banging his head on the floor because he told his attorney that he didn't want a trial and that he wanted to shoot himself dead. And he also said that he heard a voice to tell him not to trust his lawyers because they wanted to bring him down. He also said once again that he wanted to take his life, but he couldn't tell him because it was a secret.
Because they were going to prey on his downfall?
They're preying on his downfall and him killing himself. They had to hold the trial for him for 3 weeks, Estela, so that he can go to another mental facility to get checked again. The doctors were like, dude, his behavior is not like someone that is hearing voices. He's fine. He is capable of standing trial. And they said he's competent. He needs to go back to trial. So this said, you imagine being her family, bro? he keeps doing this bullshit, and then they keep setting his trial further and further back, right?
Yeah.
They brought his ass back to trial, and they began the cross-examination. The prosecution was not playing, girl.
I would hope not.
They brought up the fact that Colleen was still alive when she was put in the bin. Mm-hmm. They brought up how
he could have stopped.
He could have stopped. How he brought all these things beforehand to the school, and at this point they're about to bring the bin out to show the jury where
he placed her.
And guess what? No, pues el Phillip had another breakdown.
I'm sure he did.
Okay, and this time he started acting out again, pegándose en la cabeza, que no sé qué. Foaming at the mouth, all this other shit, and that he was talking to voices. But this time the judge said, okay, if you want to say that you don't want to be in the trial, we're going to go ahead and give you that opportunity, but we're not going to force you, but we have to continue with the trial. Without you. Oh, when they said that, he was fine. He said he'll stay.
He was like, no, I want to be here.
Yeah. So he's like, okay, then I'll stay.
I'm fine now.
I'm fine. Yep.
Y se limpió las babas.
Sí, porque he was foaming.
Yeah, pues.
Okay, so at the end of all of this, I don't know why. I guess he kept doing that to kind of like, make time. I don't know what the fuck.
Make himself look...
like he was mental, but they kept evaluating him and nothing was wrong with him. Yeah. And so then he said, okay, I'll stay. So at the end of all of this, the prosecutor said, their final words, and this killed me. I don't know why. She said, and I quote, all of those images do not matter as much as one image. The one still image that matters of this case is the image of Colleen in the woods. The image that the defendant painted of Colleen, stripped, battered, brutalized, and violated. Mm-hmm. The defense was able to get Phillip's initial conversation, like, how
thrown out.
They talked to him or whatever.
Wasn't admissible in court.
They threw it out. And, but there was no way that...
He wasn't, with everything else, even 90%, regardless.
90%. 90% of the fucking case was on fucking video. So he was found guilty of all charges and sentenced to life with possibility of parole after 40 years. Mm-hmm. And this is why I feel like I got upset because of the fact that they were able to put him in the juvenile. But dude, he was fucking trying to kill people in the juvenile center. So why not put him straight in with the big boys?
Because they can't.
So
once again, I'm watching the video.
A lot of the things that would happen that we can't understand is because of the fact that he was 14 when he did it.
But why? Did he say why? Just because he was triggered by the word?
He didn't say. He never confessed. He never talked about it. He never said anything. So as I said before, this was not okay for Colleen's parents. They wanted life without parole. But like I said, once again, him being a minor, it makes a big difference. Through the trial, Phillip did not show any
remorse.
Not one ounce of remorse. He just sat there and he looked
como si nada, like yeah.
Colleen's parents did sue the school and the town of Danvers at the end because of the school cleaning company for cleaning the restroom of potential evidence. And they did not want any money or anything for themselves. They wanted to donate any money to the school or whatever they would get to a school safety program that they started on Colleen's name, and also donate to a fund that was set up for Colleen. In August of 2022, the suit was settled with an undisclosed amount, and they did get some money, but once again, we have no idea. So the fund is called the Colleen E. Ritzer Memorial Fund, and they sell pink daisies there. They have a hashtag kindness for Colleen. You can use to, show acts of kindness. And they also help set up 5K walks to help fund scholarships and things that they offer for her. So if you would like to donate, or if you want more information about the fund or to anything, if there's anybody out there that would like to look into it, I actually was able to read a lot about Colleen there. They have a lot of information about her, and I feel like that is what you want to read sometimes with these cases, because you want to know who that person was, and they can stay, as much as you can alive in that memory. Way.
Yeah.
And the information is ColleenRitzer.org. And if you want to check it out and donate. So that is the case. Very unfortunate case of Colleen Ritzer. Oh, I forgot to say something. According to reports, the parents of Phillip said that they don't want him back. So they said if he ever comes out on parole, they don't they want to
not have anything to do with him.
No, they want to leave him supposedly in jail. You can't do that, but you know.
I mean, he'll be grown by then. I mean, over 18.
So I think he'll be out before he's even 50.
Oh yeah, he was 14.
He was 14. So he has.
That's if he gets paroled, though.
Yeah, I mean, Colleen was 24.
I know.
So
it's a 10-year difference, dude.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I wonder if it wasn't her, if it would have been somebody else.
I don't know. To be honest, if you, because I listened to a lot, and I read a lot. If you look at it, it seems like he was looking for someone that was kind of, that he thought was
he could
an
overpower.
easy target. Yeah. And Colleen was so sweet. Like she was probably like, you know,
no lo va a sospechar
or whatever, you know. You know what my deal that kind of hasn't let me sleep a little is the cleaning people. Like, how the fuck do you go and clean a whole restroom because there must have been blood everywhere.
I thought you said he cleaned it.
No, it's not. They don't know who cleaned it.
Oh, because you said there was only as much.
That's what I'm saying. So what happened?
Somebody had cleaned it.
Yes. And that's why I'm saying that that his family.
Bro, did you just not think you were not going to get caught? If you left everything a mess?
I mean.
Did he want to?
I don't know. But I'm telling you, like, if anybody has a moment to look at it, because I really don't, like, it's creepy and sad and it's so disheartening. But, you know, and you can see his hands were bright red in the school. That means that you I mean, there's blood everywhere. And
obviously that's why the school got sued.
So yeah, and the school got sued because they said nobody heard anything. The student was just running around. I mean, but like you said. And
then the girl that said that she walked into the restroom and then just quickly walked out. I mean, I know like nobody.
She went to another restroom.
That's what I'm saying. But imagine later you find out that you witnessed whatever was going on to Miss Colleen.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially if you were in her class or something.
Exactly.
Like, yeah. So apparently
it's just like
she just thought, she saw a butt. So she's like, oh, they're changing or something. Something. I would have done the same thing.
Yeah, me too.
But I wouldn't I wouldn't have go say anything to anybody.
Like a friend later.
Yeah,
but then later she found out that what really happened.
Yeah.
It's crazy to think about.
So I think that the story that the teacher said, because you know how there was two conflicting stories about the student.
Who asked him to stay or why was he in her class?
But if you think about it, it makes more sense that he was there for no reason.
Yeah.
Because if Miss Colleen
why would the other girl say that she heard what she heard?
Maybe she heard
Maybe she thought she heard that.
It was just unnecessary. Like if
but it was way more.
Everybody was like, everybody that I read or that I saw, it's like you were, triggered by the word Tennessee bitch. No, you were killing cats and getting off on
allegedly,
that. Allegedly. Well, they never said yes or no.
That's what I'm saying. Allegedly.
But I mean, the fact that somebody thought that far to set her up the way that he did,
right? That's
and
what
the
I'm
way
saying.
that he
knew that they were going to find
her,
and then because he told the police cuando lo encontraron ahí caminando en la contraria that she was like, oh, in the woods, like
he was telling them where she was, and the thing is, it's like, and he said whose blood it was.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's like, and
he wasn't trying to hide it.
No. And the fact that you go and use her credit card and buy Wendy's, bitch.
And then he attacked somebody else at the,
Yeah. So I mean, I just feel like, yes, it was just unfortunate. And I was just looking at, like, because, like I said, it was her anniversary of death and of everything that happened. And her parents, were recently again in the news or whatever because they talk about it. But it's like her parents were it was just heartbreaking. Like the fact that from the beginning of when I saw the pictures of them and then from when I saw them after, it was just so heartbreaking
and
to
then
see that.
I know when something happens to one of your loved ones, you always just kind of, you don't see it. Mm-hmm. And here you can see it. Like you say, you can see when he's following her.
Yeah. No. You see the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like you said, you're like I told you before, everything is there, and his expression, his hands donde están llenas de sangre.
Yeah.
Like just
you
that.
see her walking. I mean, that's the last time that you saw her live.
You see him walking in with the fucking bin, sin zapatos. Like all of this is just, it's just heartbreaking. And I think that's this one. There's been a few, but this one has been one of the ones that it stayed with me. And I was like, I need to talk about it already because I need to get this out of my of my mind, because not on my mind, pero like I need to tell somebody because it's so heartbreaking. And the fact that he, like I said, pero hasta donde le llegó la mente de sexually assaulting her with the stick.
Yeah.
You know, he's a psychopath.
He's not right.
Like, he's not right. He's a psychopath, because these are things that were proven that happened to Colleen.
Yeah.
And the fact that she might have been awake for this fucking kills me, Estela. The fact that, like you said, she's in a bin and he's pushing her somewhere.
Yeah. And
you don't know what's going to happen to you. Well, tell us what you think. I know that, I mean, sometimes you just are out of words, but thank you for all of our new followers. We really appreciate everybody that's new. If you would like to follow us, you are more than welcome to follow us at
Cafecito and Crane Pod. And if you would like to download our episodes, leave us a review and or read us. We would really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for listening, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye.